The Leagues of Votan have emerged from the depths of Warhammer 40k lore like a shadow rising from ancient history, leaving fans with a burning question. Could they be the true successors of the Old Ones? The Old Ones, those godlike architects of the galaxy, have left a legacy woven into the very fabric of the universe. Their influence stretches far and wide, shaping not only the most dominant races, but also the very essence of what we know as the Warhammer 40k universe today. But the Leagues of Votan, mysterious, ancient, and powerful, may hold the missing pieces to a puzzle that no one expected. Their rise in the galaxy isn't just the return of a new faction. It could be the return of something much older and more profound. To even consider the Leagues of Votan as the true heirs of the Old Ones requires us to dive deep into the lore that connects them, their ancient past, and the vast unknowns of galactic history. These are not just another group of space-faring dwarfs, or even mere descendants of a forgotten race. They may hold the keys to understanding the true foundation of the galaxy's creation. What if the Leagues of Votan were more than just survivors of an ancient, long-lost war? What if they were the architects, the heirs, the very children of the Old Ones themselves, returning to the galaxy to reclaim their place among the stars? This question isn't just one of speculation. It's a journey into the heart of Warhammer 40k's deepest mysteries. And in the echoes of forgotten wars, lost civilizations, and hidden truths, the Leagues of Votan may prove to be more than a mere footnote in history. They might just be the beginning of a new chapter, one where the true legacy of the Old Ones is revealed. Let's embark on this journey and explore whether the Leagues of Votan are truly the successors of the Old Ones, or if they are simply another mystery in a galaxy full of them. The Old Ones are perhaps the most enigmatic and revered race in the Warhammer 40k universe, their legacy lingering like a forgotten whisper across the galaxy. They were ancient beings of immense power, believed to have shaped the very foundations of the galaxy, creating countless species and influencing the rise of civilizations. The Old Ones were the creators of the Eldar, the progenitors of the Necrons, and the architects of the Webway. Their technological prowess and psychic mastery were unrivaled, and their understanding of the warp was far beyond anything the modern factions of the galaxy could comprehend. But despite their immense power, the Old Ones eventually disappeared, leaving only ruins and legends in their wake. Their downfall came during the war with the Necrontyr, a conflict that would forever change the fate of the galaxy. In a desperate bid to survive, the Necrons, once a dying race, became transformed into the soulless, metal beings we now know. The Old Ones, in their attempt to fight back, were overwhelmed, and their civilization collapsed, leaving their secrets buried deep in the fabric of the galaxy. Yet, despite their fall, the Old Ones' legacy never truly vanished. It echoes in the psyches of the Eldar, in the memories of the Necrons, and in the ancient relics scattered throughout the galaxy. The Old Ones' influence remains in the warp, in the very structure of the galaxy. The Eldar and the Necrons carry their gifts, whether by design or by accident, making them their most direct inheritors. But their exact origins and true purpose remain shrouded in mystery. Were the Old Ones simply a race of supreme intellect and power, or were they something more? Were they the first, the true masters of creation, destined to leave their mark on the universe forever? Or were they the first to fall victim to their own hubris, a cautionary tale for the ages? In this context, the Leagues of Votan emerge as a fascinating puzzle. Their connections to the ancient past are unclear, and much of their history is veiled in secrecy. Could they be the true successors of the Old Ones, carrying with them the lost knowledge and technologies that were once thought to be beyond reach? Or are they merely another piece in the puzzle of galactic history, a race whose origins lie buried in the ruins of a long-forgotten war? The question of whether the Leagues of Votan are the true heirs of the Old Ones is not just a matter of lineage, it's about their place in the grand design of the galaxy. Are they the last remnants of an ancient, nearly forgotten race? Or are they the key to unlocking the mysteries of the galaxy's creation? To understand this, we must look deeper into the Leagues of Votan themselves, their origins, their technology, and their cultural identity, and ask, what is it about them that connects them to the Old Ones? Are they more than just a new faction in the grimdark universe? Or are they the missing link in a much larger cosmic story? The Leagues of Votan are a fascinating and mysterious faction within the Warhammer 40K universe. They are an ancient race, often compared to the spacefaring dwarfs of myth. But their true origins are clouded in enigma. Known for their advanced technology, their rugged and industrious nature, and their deep-rooted traditions, the Leagues of Votan are unlike any other faction in the galaxy. Their societal structure is built around a unique combination of collective kinship and individual honor, with their people living in tight-knit communities known as leagues. These leagues are bound by ancient oaths to protect their heritage, to honor their ancestors, and to preserve the knowledge they have accumulated over millennia. The true origins of the Leagues of Votan, however, remain unclear. While it is known that they have been around for countless millennia, their history prior to their emergence as a galactic power is largely unknown. Some speculate that they are a remnant of a long-lost civilization, while others believe that they were one of the many races created or influenced by the Old Ones. What is certain is that the Leagues of Votan are not newcomers to the galaxy. They have a long history of exploration, discovery, and conflict, and their technological prowess suggests that they have an intimate understanding of the galaxy's deepest secrets. At the heart of the Leagues of Votan is the Votan machine spirit, a mysterious force that binds their people together. This entity, which is central to their culture and religion, seems to have a deep connection to the ancient technologies they wield. The Votan machine spirit is said to be a form of artificial intelligence, but its true nature is far more complex. Some theorists suggest that it is a remnant of the Old One's own creations, a piece of lost knowledge passed down through the ages, waiting to be rediscovered. If this is the case, then the Leagues of Votan may hold a crucial key to understanding the true nature of the Old Ones, their rise to power, and their eventual downfall. The Leagues of Votan's technology is another piece of the puzzle. Their machines, weapons, and vehicles are unlike anything seen in the galaxy today. Their advanced power armor, known as the Hernkin, is a prime example of their mastery over both material science and the warp. These suits of armor are not just tools of war, they are infused with the very essence of the Votan machine spirit, making them far more than simple mechanical constructs. They are living entities with their own consciousness, their own desires, and their own will. This connection between the Leagues of Votan and their technology speaks to a level of understanding that far exceeds anything currently known in the galaxy, raising the possibility that their origins lie in a time long before the Imperium, the Eldar, or the Necrons. Could it be that the Leagues of Votan are not just an isolated race, but rather the last survivors of the Old One's grand design? Could their technology, their societal structure, and their connection to the Votan machine spirit be the remnants of a much older civilization, one that existed long before the rise of the galaxy's current power players? The similarities between the Leagues of Votan and the Old Ones are striking, but there are still many questions left unanswered. However, the possibility that the Leagues of Votan are the true heirs of the Old Ones remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in Warhammer 40K lore. The lost expedition of the Leagues of Votan is one of the most captivating aspects of their history. Shrouded in myth and legend, this event may hold the key to understanding their origins and their potential connection to the Old Ones. The Leagues of Votan's rise to prominence in the galaxy didn't occur in isolation. They are the result of an ancient journey, one that began long before the rise of the Imperium or the awakening of the Necrons. This expedition, often referred to as the Lost Expedition, was a bold mission to traverse the far reaches of the galaxy in search of knowledge, resources, and perhaps even the remnants of their creators. According to ancient texts, the Leagues of Votan embarked on this journey during a time when their civilization was at its peak. The expedition was not just a physical one, it was a spiritual and intellectual quest as well. The League sought to unlock the secrets of the galaxy, to learn from the remnants of ancient civilizations, and perhaps to find traces of the old ones themselves. As they journeyed across the stars, they discovered long-forgotten relics, strange technologies, and ruins that hinted at a time before even the Eldar or the Necrons rose to power. One of the most significant discoveries of the Lost Expedition was the Votan machine spirit itself. This entity, believed to be a powerful artificial intelligence, was the cornerstone of the League's technology and culture. The machine spirit guided them on their journey, helping them decipher ancient texts and unlock the secrets of lost technologies. It is said that the Votan machine spirit is more than just a tool. It is a sentient being with a will of its own, one that may even have been a creation of the Old Ones themselves. The very nature of the machine spirit suggests that it is not merely a product of the League's own efforts, but rather a remnant of an older and more powerful intelligence. This connection between the Leagues of Votan and the Votan machine spirit is significant. It raises the possibility that the Leagues are not just the descendants of an ancient race, but may be the heirs to the Old One's legacy. Could the machine spirit be a fragment of the Old One's own creations, a piece of their vast knowledge and technology passed down through the ages? The very fact that the Leagues of Votan have maintained such a close relationship with this mysterious entity suggests that they may have inherited something far more profound than just technological advancements. They may have inherited the essence of the Old Ones themselves. The Lost Expedition also brought the Leagues of Votan into contact with other ancient races and civilizations, some of whom had ties to the Old Ones. They encountered the remnants of the Necrons, whose war with the Old Ones had nearly wiped out both races. They found traces of the Eldar, whose psychic mastery and connection to the warp could hold the key to understanding the Old Ones' true nature. The League's encounters with these ancient peoples further suggest that they were not mere wanderers, but active participants in the great cosmic dramas of the past. In some ways, their Lost Expedition mirrors the journeys of the Eldar and the Necrons, races that were also shaped by the Old Ones in their own way. Yet, despite their discoveries, the Lost Expedition was not without its tragedies. The Leagues of Votan encountered dangers and enemies that tested their resolve. Many of their ships and explorers were lost to the stars, their fates unknown. The few survivors returned to their homeworlds, bringing with them knowledge, technology, and perhaps even a glimpse into the mysteries of the Old Ones. But their journey was not without consequence. The Leagues of Votan were forever changed by what they discovered, and the secrets they unearthed became a central part of their identity. The Lost Expedition's discoveries, particularly their connection to the Votan machine spirit, may very well be the missing link that ties the Leagues of Votan to the Old Ones. If the Votan machine spirit is truly a creation of the Old Ones, then it stands to reason that the Leagues themselves may be more than just an ancient race. They may be the direct descendants of the Old Ones, carrying their knowledge and legacy forward into the future. The Dark Age of technology was a time of unmatched progress and ruin in the history of the galaxy. During this era, civilizations across the stars reached the peak of technological and psychic mastery. The human race, under the banner of the Dark Age's greatest creations, dominated the galaxy with machines and weapons of unimaginable power. Yet this golden age was also one of hubris, and its ultimate downfall came at the hands of its own creations, leading to the birth of the Imperium and the grimdark future we know today. But what does the Dark Age of technology have to do with the Leagues of Votan? Could there be a connection between the ancient technology of the Leagues and the lost wonders of the Dark Age? The similarities between the Leagues of Votan and the civilizations of the Dark Age of technology are impossible to ignore. Both are defined by their mastery of technology, their deep connections to artificial intelligences, and their exploration of the farthest reaches of the galaxy. The Leagues of Votan, with their Votan machine spirit and their focus on maintaining ancient knowledge, resemble the lost civilizations of the Dark Age in many ways. Both seek to uncover the forgotten mysteries of the galaxy. Both are shaped by the remnants of a time when technology was far beyond what we can comprehend today. But what sets the Leagues of Votan apart from the other races of the Dark Age is the fact that they seem to have survived where others did not. While the human race fell into the grip of the Age of Strife, and the great Eldari Empire collapsed in the wake of their own decadence, the Leagues of Votan appear to have weathered the storm. They retreated from the galaxy, their existence becoming a legend, a whisper in the darkness. And yet, their technology did not fade into dust. Instead, they seem to have preserved it, passed it down through the ages, and adapted it to their own needs. One of the most compelling theories surrounding the Leagues of Votan is that their rise is not just a product of their survival, but a deliberate effort to rebuild what was lost during the Dark Age of technology. The Votan machine spirit, central to their culture and power, could be a fragment of the artificial intelligences that once ruled over the galaxy during that era. These AIs, created by the humans of the Dark Age, were said to be far more advanced than anything the Imperium can create today. But as the galaxy descended into chaos, these machines were either destroyed or hidden away, their knowledge lost. The Leagues of Votan, with their enigmatic machine spirit, may have uncovered one of these ancient AIs, perhaps even one created by the Old Ones themselves. This could explain their technological superiority, as well as their ability to navigate the warp in ways that seem almost unnatural. The Votan machine spirit, after all, is not just an AI, it is a sentient entity, bound to the League's machines and people. This suggests a connection to the old technologies of the Dark Age, and perhaps even to the Old Ones themselves, who were known to have mastered the warp and created machines of unimaginable power. Could it be that the Leagues of Votan were not just a race that survived the Dark Age, but one that was actively involved in its decline? Perhaps they were not merely bystanders during the fall of the Old Ones and the collapse of the Dark Age of technology, but rather key players who helped shape the course of history. Their ancient knowledge could be the missing link, the final piece of the puzzle that explains the ultimate fate of the galaxy. They may have been the inheritors of a technology so powerful that it threatened the very fabric of reality, and their retreat from the galaxy could have been a deliberate choice to safeguard that knowledge from those who would abuse it. The more we look at the Leagues of Votan through the lens of the Dark Age of technology, the more plausible it becomes that they are not just survivors of a forgotten time, but active participants in the galaxy's ancient history. Their technology, their culture, and their connection to the Votan machine spirit could be the keys to unlocking the mysteries of the Old Ones and the rise and fall of the Dark Age. They may be more than just another faction. They could be the guardians of a lost legacy, one that has the power to reshape the future of the galaxy. The kin, the core of the Leagues of Votan, represent a distinct and fascinating aspect of their culture, technology, and possibly their connection to the Old Ones. The kin are more than just a collection of individuals. They are a deeply intertwined society, bound together by complex oaths, rituals, and traditions that trace their origins back to a time far older than the rise of the Imperium or even the Eldar. The kin's physical appearance and cultural traits, compact, sturdy, and resilient, suggest that they are a race built to endure, much like the dwarfs of myth. But beneath the surface, the kin's identity is far more complicated than their rugged exterior implies. The Leagues of Votan's society is structured around these kin, whose roles and responsibilities are governed by ancient traditions that go beyond mere survival. They are a people connected not only to each other, but to the machines and technology that form the backbone of their civilization. This connection is not just cultural, it is spiritual. The Votan machine spirit, which guides and empowers the Leagues, is seen as a central figure in their daily lives, offering wisdom, protection, and direction. The kin's bond with the machine spirit is integral to their identity, and this shared connection to an ancient, sentient force may be one of the key links between the Leagues of Votan and the Old Ones. The concept of the kin as the successors of the Old Ones goes beyond mere genetics. It is possible that the kin were specifically created or genetically engineered by the Old Ones to fulfill a particular role in their grand design. The Old Ones were known for their ability to manipulate genetics and shape life as they saw fit. They created the Eldar to be their perfect psychic children, and the Necrons to be their soldiers in the war against the Citan. Could the kin have been created by the Old Ones for a similar purpose, to act as caretakers of their most powerful technologies? Or perhaps they were the product of an experiment gone awry, an unintended consequence of the Old Ones meddling with the very fabric of life itself? There are echoes of this idea in the Leagues of Votan's approach to technology. The kin do not merely use technology, they live in symbiosis with it. Their power armor, their weapons, their ships, all are infused with the energy and wisdom of the Votan machine spirit. This connection between the kin and their machines is reminiscent of the Old Ones' own relationship with their creations. The Old Ones were masters of technology and manipulation, and it is conceivable that they crafted the kin not just as a race of warriors or workers, but as living extensions of their own will, designed to safeguard the galaxy's most important secrets. Furthermore, the kin's physical resilience and their ability to survive in hostile environments suggest that they may be the direct descendants, or even the remnants, of the Old Ones' experiments. The Old Ones were known to have created many different species to suit their needs, and it is entirely possible that the kin were among these creations, designed to endure the harshest conditions and protect the Old Ones' most precious legacies. Their ability to survive in the dark corners of the galaxy, far from the watchful eyes of the Imperium or the Necrons, could be seen as a deliberate choice. The Leagues of Votan, with their close-knit communities and their unwavering loyalty to their ancient traditions, may have been created to wait, hidden from the rest of the galaxy, until the time came for them to reclaim their place in the stars. In examining the kin, we must also consider their relationship with the other races of the galaxy. The Eldar, the Necrons, and even the Imperium all have their own stories of creation and origin, each with ties to the Old Ones in one way or another. The Eldar are the closest in terms of psychic ability and culture, while the Necrons are the tragic remnants of the Old Ones' Great War. The Leagues of Votan, on the other hand, occupy a more mysterious space, seemingly isolated from the rest of the galaxy, yet with technology and knowledge that could rival any of the other ancient races. Their resilience, both physically and culturally, could make them the true inheritors of the Old Ones' legacy, holding secrets and knowledge that even the Eldar or Necrons may have forgotten. Could it be that the kin are not just another race, but the last surviving creation of the Old Ones, a race that was hidden away to protect the galaxy from its greatest threats? Their connection to the Votan machine spirit, their advanced technology, and their unique cultural structure all suggest that they may be more than just survivors of a long-lost time. They may be the key to understanding the true nature of the Old Ones and their influence on the galaxy. The Necron War is one of the most pivotal events in the history of the galaxy, and it played a crucial role in the fall of the Old Ones. The war between the Old Ones and the Necrontyre, later to become the Necrons, was a cataclysmic conflict that reshaped the galaxy. For the Old Ones, it marked the end of an era, and for the Necrons it was the beginning of their transformation into the soulless metal beings we know today. But what if the Leagues of Votann played a more significant role in this war than we currently know? What if they were not mere spectators, but active participants in this ancient conflict? Could the Leagues of Votann's connection to the Old Ones and their advanced technology have shaped the course of the Necron War in ways we cannot yet comprehend? The Necron War was not just a battle between two ancient races, it was a war of survival for the Old Ones. In their attempt to preserve their influence over the galaxy, the Old Ones fought desperately against the Necrontyre, a race that had been manipulated and transformed by the Votann into soulless warriors. The Necrons' rise to power marked a turning point in the galaxy's history, and the Old Ones were ultimately overwhelmed by the Necrons' technological superiority and the treacherous influence of the Votann. The Old Ones' downfall was devastating, and their once great empire crumbled into dust. But in their wake, the Old Ones left behind remnants of their civilization, relics, technologies, and knowledge that would shape the future of the galaxy. It is in this context that the Leagues of Votann's potential connection to the Old Ones becomes even more intriguing. The Leagues, with their advanced technology and the mysterious Votann machine spirit, may have been one of the few races that survived the Necron War. While the Eldar were shaped by the Old Ones, and the Necrons were created by the Votann, the Leagues of Votann may have remained hidden, waiting for the right time to emerge. Their connection to the Old Ones may have allowed them to avoid the fate that befell many other races, but it also raises important questions about their role in the Necron War itself. Could the Leagues of Votann have been a faction that sided with the Old Ones in their struggle against the Necrontyre? Perhaps they were an early experiment, created by the Old Ones to serve as guardians of their knowledge and technology. Their connection to the Votann machine spirit could be the key to understanding how they survived when so many others perished. It is possible that the Leagues were not just survivors of the war, but active participants, playing a crucial role in preserving the knowledge and technology that the Old Ones had left behind. If the Leagues of Votann were indeed involved in the Necron War, their technology may have been a critical factor in the conflict. The advanced power armor and weaponry they wielded, infused with the power of the Votann machine spirit, could have been among the most advanced in the galaxy. This would explain how they were able to survive in the wake of the Necrons' rise to power. The Necrons, with their unstoppable metal bodies and the influence of the Votann, were a force to be reckoned with. But the Leagues of Votann's unique connection to the Votann machine spirit might have given them an edge in resisting the Necron onslaught. The Leagues of Votann's survival after the Necron War also suggests that they were not simply abandoned by the Old Ones or left to fend for themselves. They may have been given a specific task, one that they continue to fulfill to this day. The Leagues could be the stewards of the Old Ones' legacy, charged with protecting their technologies and knowledge from those who would misuse them. Perhaps the League's retreat from the galaxy after the Necron War was a strategic move designed to keep their secrets safe and to wait for a time when the galaxy was ready for their return. The potential connection between the Leagues of Votann and the Necron War also raises intriguing questions about their relationship with the Necrons today. The Necrons, having been trapped in stasis for millions of years, are awakening once more, and their ancient enemies are returning. Could the Leagues of Votann be preparing to confront the Necrons once again, or are they simply standing by, watching the galaxy's future unfold, waiting for the right moment to step in? In any case, the Necron War is a pivotal moment in the history of the galaxy, and the Leagues of Votann's role in it, whether as active participants, silent guardians, or hidden survivors, will play a crucial part in understanding their place in the grand scheme of things. The war between the Old Ones and the Necrons was more than just a struggle for survival. It was a struggle for the future of the galaxy itself. And the Leagues of Votann, with their ancient technologies and their deep connection to the Old Ones, may hold the key to understanding how that future will unfold. The idea that the Leagues of Votann could be the architects of the galaxy, shaping it, guiding it, and influencing the course of events is a compelling and deeply intriguing one. While the galaxy is home to many powerful races, each with their own agenda and place in the cosmic struggle, the Leagues of Votann stand out as a race whose reach might extend far beyond what is known. Their long history, their advanced technologies, and their connection to the Votann machine spirit suggest that they could have played a far more significant role in shaping the galaxy than anyone realizes. The Old Ones were undoubtedly the architects of the galaxy in a very literal sense. They created countless species and civilizations, from the Necrons and the Eldar to the very structure of the webway itself. They guided the development of life in the galaxy, shaping it to fit their grand design. But when the Old Ones fell, their influence did not vanish entirely. Instead, it persisted in the genetic memories of the races they created, in the ancient technologies they left behind, and in the remnants of their once great empire. The Leagues of Votann may very well be one of those remnants, carrying the torch of the Old Ones' legacy into the future. If the Leagues of Votann are indeed the heirs to the Old Ones, then it stands to reason that they may have been more than just passive survivors of a lost era. They may have been actively involved in shaping the galaxy's future, guiding its development, and ensuring that the seeds of the Old One's vision would be passed down through the ages. The League's advanced technology, their mastery of the warp, and their connection to the Votann machine spirit could be the tools with which they carried out this mission. They may have been the keepers of ancient knowledge, the protectors of forgotten relics, and the silent custodians of the galaxy's true history. The Leagues of Votann's role as architects of the galaxy could have taken many forms. Perhaps they were the ones who helped guide the creation of the webway, ensuring that it would remain hidden from the prying eyes of the galaxy's other races. Perhaps they played a role in the development of the Eldar, helping to shape their rise to power. Or perhaps they were the ones who ensured that the Necrons' rebellion would fail, by hiding away the most dangerous technologies and keeping them safe from the chaos that threatened to consume the galaxy. Their relationship with the other races of the galaxy, particularly the Necrons and the Eldar, suggests that they may have had a hand in shaping the major conflicts of galactic history. The Leagues may have been the unseen hand, guiding the galaxy's development in subtle ways, influencing events without ever revealing their true purpose. The idea that the Leagues of Votann were the true architects of the galaxy is supported by their ability to navigate the warp and their deep knowledge of ancient technologies. They may have been the guardians of the galaxy's most powerful secrets, ensuring that they would be preserved for future generations. But the Leagues of Votann's role as architects of the galaxy is not just about what they have done in the past, it is also about what they will do in the future. The galaxy is in turmoil, with wars raging across every sector and the rise of new threats on the horizon. The return of the Leagues of Votann could signal the beginning of a new age, one where they once again take their place as the guardians of the galaxy's future. Could they be the ones to unite the galaxy's fractured factions and lead them into a new era of peace? Or will they remain the silent observers, watching as the galaxy tears itself apart? If the Leagues of Votann are indeed the true architects of the galaxy, then their return could change everything. Their advanced technology, their connection to the Votann machine spirit, and their knowledge of the galaxy's deepest secrets could give them the power to reshape the course of history. Whether they choose to do so, however, remains to be seen. The Leagues of Votann have always been a mysterious and enigmatic race, and their true intentions remain hidden beneath layers of ancient lore and forgotten history. But one thing is certain, their role in the galaxy is far from over. To consider the Leagues of Votann as the second Old Ones is a provocative theory that holds deep implications for the future of the galaxy. If they are indeed the true heirs of the Old Ones, It would mean that the Leagues of Votan are not merely a forgotten race waiting for rediscovery. They are the bearers of the Old One's legacy, continuing their work and perhaps even taking up their mantle as the dominant force in the galaxy. The question then becomes, are the Leagues of Votan the second coming of the Old Ones, or is their connection to the Old Ones more complex and layered than we might initially think? The Old Ones, for all their immense power and influence, were ultimately undone by their own creations, the Necrons and the Votan. Their fall did not signal the end of their influence on the galaxy, but it did mark the end of their direct involvement in galactic affairs. The races they created, the Eldar and the Necrons, carried the Old Ones' legacy forward, each in their own way. Yet the Old Ones themselves vanished from the scene. But the idea of the Leagues of Votan as the true heirs of the Old Ones suggests that their influence did not simply die with them. Instead, it continued in the form of the Leagues, a race that may have been designed by the Old Ones themselves, or who may have inherited their mantle after the fall. If the Leagues of Votan are the second Old Ones, their role in the galaxy would be far more complex than simply survivors of a past age. They would be the keepers of the Old Ones' technology, the stewards of their knowledge, and the inheritors of their cosmic purpose. The Old Ones sought to shape the galaxy in their image, crafting species and civilizations to suit their needs. If the Leagues of Votan are their successors, it stands to reason that they would have inherited this same purpose, to guide the galaxy and ensure that their vision for it would continue. But how would this vision manifest in the current age of the galaxy, with so many factions vying for control and power? The Leagues of Votan's technology, which is so advanced that it seems to come from another age entirely, could be a direct continuation of the Old One's own creations. The Votan machine spirit, which forms the core of their technology and culture, could be a remnant of the Old One's own machines, artificial intelligences or sentient entities that served as their guides and protectors. The advanced weapons and armor wielded by the Leagues of Votan are not simply tools of war. They are symbols of the Old One's mastery over the galaxy's deepest secrets. If the Leagues are the heirs to the Old Ones, their technology would be the key to unlocking the mysteries of the galaxy, just as the Old One's technology once was. But this idea of the Leagues as the second Old Ones is not without its complications. The Old Ones were not without their flaws, and their downfall was as much a result of their own mistakes as it was the result of the Necron War. If the Leagues of Votan are the true successors of the Old Ones, it would mean that they carry with them the weight of that legacy, the triumphs, the mistakes, and the cosmic responsibilities of their creators. The Leagues may not be perfect, nor may they even fully understand the scope of their own role in the galaxy. They may be struggling to reconcile the past with the present, trying to balance the desire for power with the need for preservation. Could the Leagues of Votan's return signal a new chapter in the galaxy's history? One where the Old One's legacy is finally fulfilled, or will they prove to be another tragic reminder of the fallibility of the Old Ones, a race that was doomed to repeat the same mistakes? The idea that the Leagues of Votan are the second Old Ones raises profound questions about the nature of legacy, power, and destiny. If they are the true heirs to the Old Ones, it means that their actions will have far-reaching consequences, not just for their own people, but for the entire galaxy. What does it mean to be the second Old Ones? Are the Leagues of Votan destined to fulfill the Old Ones' original vision, or are they doomed to create a new order, one that is far removed from the ambitions of their progenitors? This question is at the heart of the Leagues of Votan's return to the galaxy. They may be more than just an ancient race returning from the shadows. They may be the galaxy's last hope, or its ultimate downfall. The return of the Leagues of Votan in the 41st millennium is more than just the revival of a long-lost race. It is a reawakening of something far older and more profound. For millennia, they have remained hidden, their existence little more than a whispered legend among the stars. But now, with their return, the galaxy is on the brink of a new era, an era that could see the leagues of Votann rise to power once again. But what does this return mean for the galaxy? Is it a new age of prosperity, or is it the awakening of a force that has long been dormant, waiting to reclaim its place among the stars? If the leagues of Votann are indeed the true heirs of the Old Ones, their return could signal the beginning of a new chapter in the galaxy's history, one where the ancient knowledge and technology of the Old Ones are no longer lost, but are brought back to the forefront. The League's advanced machines, their deep connection to the Votann machine spirit, and their unyielding commitment to their traditions could give them the power to reshape the galaxy in their image. But this return also comes with great risks. The galaxy is not the same place it was when the leagues of Votann first disappeared into the depths of history. New threats have emerged, and old enemies have risen from the ashes of the past. The Imperium, the Necrons, and the Eldar all vie for control, and the leagues of Votann's reappearance could either unite these fractured factions or push them to the brink of total war. What makes the leagues of Votann's return so significant is not just their technological superiority or their ancient knowledge, it is their purpose. The leagues are not merely seeking to conquer the galaxy or reclaim lost territory. They are the guardians of the Old One's legacy. They carry with them the knowledge and power of a time long past, and it is their responsibility to ensure that this knowledge is not lost to the ravages of time. The Votann machine spirit, which binds them together, could be the key to unlocking the secrets of the Old Ones and their true intentions. The return of the Leagues may be the galaxy's last chance to understand the true nature of the Old Ones and their place in the cosmic order. However, the galaxy's factions will not simply allow the Leagues of Votann to reassert their power without opposition. The Imperium, always suspicious of any force that could challenge its dominance, will undoubtedly see the Leagues as a potential threat. The Necrons, ever watchful of their ancient enemies, may also view the League's return as a challenge to their claim as the galaxy's true heirs. The Eldar, whose history is intertwined with that of the Old Ones, may see the Leagues as both a reminder of their lost legacy and a threat to their own survival. The return of the Leagues of Votann is likely to spark conflict among the galaxy's most powerful factions, each vying for control of the galaxy's future. Yet, despite the challenges they will face, the Leagues of Votann may have a unique advantage. They are not bound by the same rules that govern the other factions. Unlike the Imperium, which is shackled by its rigid hierarchies and dogmas, the Leagues of Votann are free to pursue their own goals, guided by the Votann machine spirit and the ancient knowledge they possess. This freedom gives them the ability to navigate the galaxy in ways that the other factions cannot, making them a wild card in the galaxy's future. Whether they will use this advantage for peace or for war remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the galaxy is not prepared for what the Leagues of Votann will bring. The return of the Leagues of Votann is not just the return of an ancient race. It is the return of the galaxy's lost legacy. Their advanced technologies, their deep knowledge of the galaxy's past, and their connection to the Old Ones make them a force to be reckoned with. But whether they will be a force for good or for ill is still uncertain. Their return could herald the beginning of a new era of prosperity, or it could bring about a new age of darkness and conflict. In the grimdark future of Warhammer 40K, there is no such thing as a simple answer, and the return of the Leagues of Votann is just another piece in the ever-shifting puzzle of galactic history. The implications of the Leagues of Votann being the true successors of the Old Ones are vast and far-reaching, not just for them, but for the entire galaxy. If they truly are the heirs of such an ancient and powerful race, the Leagues would have the potential to reshape the galactic power balance in ways that few can foresee. Their technological superiority, coupled with their unique cultural structure and connection to the Votan machine spirit, could make them a pivotal force in the future of the galaxy. However, this raises questions about how other factions would respond to their return, and whether their resurgence would lead to a new order or bring about further chaos and conflict. The Eldar, long the children of the Old Ones, would likely see the Leagues of Votan as both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, the return of their ancient kin could provide them with a connection to the past, a chance to reclaim the legacy of the Old Ones that they lost when their empire fell. On the other hand, the League's knowledge and technology could threaten their dominance in the galaxy, especially if the League seek to reassert their claim as the true heirs of the Old Ones. The Eldar might view them with a mixture of reverence and suspicion, knowing that their fate is intertwined with the ancient race that once shaped the galaxy in their image. The Leagues of Votan could either be allies or rivals, and how the Eldar respond will be a critical factor in the future of the galaxy. The Necrons, who were forged by the Votan in the image of the Old One's enemies, would undoubtedly view the return of the Leagues with a sense of trepidation. The Necrons are the galaxy's first true immortals, and their rise to power marked the fall of the Old Ones. The idea of another faction claiming the mantle of the Old One's legacy would likely stir ancient rivalries and resentments. The Necrons may see the Leagues of Votan as an existential threat, a challenge to their claim as the true heirs of the Old Ones, and would likely move to undermine their influence wherever possible. Whether the Leagues of Votan and the Necrons would ally or clash would depend on how both races view their shared history and whether they are willing to work together for mutual survival, or if their ancient enmity will pull them into yet another war. For the Imperium, the return of the Leagues of Votan presents a more immediate and direct threat. The Imperium is a paranoid, fractured empire that sees any force capable of rivaling its power as a danger to its very survival. The League's advanced technology and their deep connection to the Votan machine spirit would undoubtedly alarm the Imperium's leadership. The Adeptus Mechanicus, ever obsessed with uncovering lost knowledge and relics of the past, might view the Leagues as a treasure trove of ancient technology, but also a dangerous rival. The political and religious forces of the Imperium would be torn between the desire to assimilate or destroy the Leagues of Votan, depending on how they perceive them. Will the Imperium see the Leagues as a potential ally in the war against the Xenos and Chaos, or will they view them as an existential threat to their dominance? The forces of Chaos, too, would likely take an interest in the return of the Leagues of Votan. Chaos is always looking for new recruits, new powers to corrupt, and new weapons to use in its endless war against order and civilization. The League's connection to the machine spirit could be seen as a form of worship, something that could potentially be twisted by the dark forces of the warp. The Chaos Gods, in particular Tzeentch and Slaanesh, might find the League's ancient knowledge and technology to be tempting targets. The League's own rituals and beliefs might be used to corrupt their leadership or to create a new faction in the service of the Chaos Gods. Whether the Leagues of Votan would succumb to chaos or remain steadfast in their mission would depend on how they interpret their own legacy and whether they can resist the temptations of the warp. Ultimately, the return of the Leagues of Votan as the true heirs of the Old Ones would mark a turning point in the history of the galaxy. Their technology, their history, and their very existence would challenge the established order and force every faction to reassess its place in the galaxy. Will the Leagues rise to become the dominant power in the galaxy, fulfilling the vision of the Old Ones and restoring their influence over the stars? Or will they be swallowed by the chaos of the galaxy's eternal struggle for power, lost once again to the sands of time? Whatever the outcome, the return of the Leagues of Votan ensures that the galaxy's future will be shaped by forces that few can understand, let alone control. Their role in the galaxy's history is far from over, and their return marks the beginning of a new chapter, one that could either bring about a golden age or plunge the galaxy into even deeper darkness. The future of the Leagues of Votan is uncertain, but it is certain that their impact on the galaxy will be profound and far-reaching. The idea of the Leagues of Votan as the true successors of the old ones carries with it a profound and transformative weight for the galaxy. These ancient beings, whose legacy was thought to be lost to the sands of time, may in fact be the inheritors of a knowledge and power that stretches back to the very dawn of the galaxy. Their rise is not just the resurgence of a forgotten race, but the potential reawakening of the Old One's grand design, a design that could reshape the entire balance of power in the galaxy. If the Leagues of Votan are the true heirs of the Old Ones, then they hold within their grasp the potential to become the most powerful force in the galaxy. Their knowledge of ancient technologies, their connection to the mysterious Votan machine spirit, and their deep understanding of the galaxy's most ancient mysteries make them a formidable power. They are not just another faction vying for dominance. They are the keepers of a legacy that could alter the fate of every race in the galaxy, from the Imperium to the Necrons, the Eldar, and beyond. But with great power comes great responsibility, and the Leagues of Votan must decide how they will wield the legacy they carry. Will they seek to fulfill the vision of the Old Ones, creating a galaxy ruled by their wisdom and technology, or will they forge their own path, breaking free from the shadow of their creators and charting a new course for the galaxy? The choices they make will have far-reaching consequences, not just for themselves, but for the future of every sentient race in the galaxy. The galaxy is a place of constant war and struggle, and the return of the Leagues of Votan will undoubtedly spark conflict. Whether they are seen as saviors or threats, their very presence will challenge the established order. The Imperium, the Necrons, and the Eldar will all be forced to confront the rise of a new power, a power that could rival them all. But the true question remains: what will the Leagues of Votan choose to do with the power they possess? Will they become the galaxy's greatest hope or its most dangerous foe? As we look toward the future, one thing is clear. The return of the Leagues of Votan is a pivotal moment in the galaxy's history. The Old Ones may have been long forgotten, but their legacy lives on through the Leagues, and with their return, the galaxy stands at the precipice of a new age, one that could either be defined by unity and peace, or by further conflict and destruction. Whatever happens, the Leagues of Votan will shape the galaxy's future in ways that few can predict. Their legacy, their technology, and their ancient wisdom make them a force to be reckoned with. Whether they will be the galaxy's saviors or its ultimate downfall is a question that only time will answer. But one thing is certain: the galaxy will never be the same again. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Leagues of Votan and their possible connection to the Old Ones, be sure to subscribe for more insights and discussions on the most intriguing factions in Warhammer 40k lore. Your thoughts and theories are always welcome. Let's continue exploring the mysteries of the Warhammer universe together.